Hello everyone, welcome to Industrial Electronics Lab number 3, part number 2. In this section, we will simulate the frequency response of a practical differentiator in Proteus. And we have already started with this building up the circuit in Proteus, and this is what the circuit looks like. So if you all have missed this, you know, making this circuit in Proteus, you can watch the earlier part 1 video for IE lab number 3. Okay, so after you make the circuit in Proteus and you have connected your signal generator and the oscilloscope at the output and at the input and output respectively, you can click on the play button. And in the last time we have left this video at such that the input was a 1 volt peak to peak. So right now this is at 0.2 volts per division, channel number A. So as you can see, channel number A is connected to the input, channel number B is connected to the output. Okay, so this yellow color waveform is my input and this blue color waveform is my output. And this is my signal generator setting. Right now it's showing 1, so that means 1 volt peak to peak. So for the frequency response, we will not disturb this, we will keep it at 1 volt. We have to apply a sine wave, so you could have applied a different waveform also, but for this time we require a sine wave, and we have given a frequency of 1 kilohertz. Okay, so up till here we have already done last time. So here we have checked out the value of the output waveform. So the output waveform was coming out to be, let us count the number of divisions vertically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 divisions into 0.1. Okay, so that will be 0.6. So we have a table over here for us, right? So what we need to do is, in this we have taken V in as 1 volt peak to peak sine wave, and we need to note down the value of the output voltage. And the gain formula will become V out upon V in, where V in is 1 volt peak to peak. So gain will be almost equal to whatever we get at the output voltage. Fine. So right now at 1 kilohertz, we are getting the value as 0.6 volt. Okay. Now let's proceed further. So in order to reduce the frequency, let's say we want to make it as around 500 hertz. So we can change this range to 0.1, and right now it's showing 100. So let's calculate first at 100. So as you can see, the time period is shifted. So you can bring it back by changing the times per division knob. So here it is. Now as you can see, the amplitude of the output has reduced. So you can capture that information by increasing the volts per division knob like this. Okay. So right now the volts per division knob is at 10 millivolt. And let us count the number of divisions. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 divisions into 60 millivolt. I mean, sorry, 6 millivolts into 6 divisions into 10 millivolts. So that will give you 60 millivolt. Okay. So we'll go back over here and enter that value. 60 millivolt is around 0.06 volt. Okay, so this value we got it actually at 100 hertz. So let's write it as 100 hertz is 0.06 volt. Let's check it at 500 hertz. So for 500 we can change this and make it equal to close to 500. So yeah, this is 500. So obviously the time axis also have to be shifted. Now as you can see, the the range of the output is changing, so we have to bring it back. So we have changed the volts per division so that both the plots are fairly visible now. Now let's calculate at 500 hertz what's the value. So it's almost like 3 divisions, 1, 2, 3 into 0.1 volt. Okay, so that will be 3 into 0.1, that will be 0.3 volt. Okay, so let us go back over here and enter this value as 0.3 volt. Now let's check it at 10 hertz. So for 10 hertz, we will go over here and select this value as around 10. And again, we have to change this times per division knob and volts per division knob of the output so that it fits the screen. So right now it is at 2 millivolt. Okay. And how many number of divisions are there for the output? 1, 2, 3. So 2 into 2 millivolt into 3, that will give us around 6 millivolt. So let's go back over here and enter. So 6 millivolt is corresponding to 0.006 volt. Okay. Now let us start at around 5 hertz. Let's not go to around 1 hertz. Let's start at 5 hertz. So let's check it out. What's the value at 5 hertz? So let me reduce this to 1 and let me go back to 5 hertz. Okay. So around 5 hertz, what you are getting over here is something like this. So if you measure the amplitude of the output, which is blue color, so you will get around 1.2 volt. I mean 1.2 divisions. So 1.2 divisions into 2 millivolt will give us around what is 1.2 into 2, so around 2.4 millivolts. Okay, so here we will get, you can have to write it as 0.0024 volt. Okay, so very low value we are getting. And now let us go back to around 10k, I mean 10 kilohertz. So let us go over here. See that drastically this thing will change. Your time axis will change. So let us put it in a higher range. And now let us directly go to 10 kilohertz range. So go to 10 kilohertz range and change the center point to around 1. Around 1. I mean, yeah. So you will get it around 10 kilohertz. So right now we are getting at that 10 kilohertz. So obviously the screen will, I mean, the waveform will be taking some time to adjust, readjust itself. So this is around 10. And as you can see, the output has gone out of range. So to bring it back, we have to rotate the volts per division knob in the left direction and now keep it at 1. So now I've kept it at 1. Now let's measure the peak to peak value. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So something 5.4. Okay. So 5.4 into 1 volts per division. So 5.4 volt it is. So here we are getting around 5.4 volt. Let's check it at 15, 25 and 30 kilohertz. So next will be 15. So we have to move this around to 15. So for 15 also, let's check this value out. How much we are getting around for 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Around 7.2 we are getting. Okay. So for 15 kilohertz, the amplitude is 7.2. And let's check it for 25. So for 25, we have to adjust this. So this is 25. So let us adjust the times per division. Yeah. So for 25, let's check the peak to peak amplitude of the output. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So around 9.6. I mean, we can roughly say that around 9.6 we are getting. Okay. So we'll enter this value in the table. For 25 kilowatts, we are getting around 9.6 volts. Now let's check the last value at 30. So for 30 kilohertz, let us adjust this to 30. Yeah. So right now it is 30 kilohertz. And let me adjust this. Yeah. So let's check the amplitude over here. So amplitude over here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again 9.6. Okay. So here we are getting again the value is to be 9.6. Fine. Now if you notice carefully, your wave shape is slightly moving towards the triangular waveform. That is happening because the op-amp is catching up with the speed. Op-amp output at higher frequencies cannot catch up with the speed of the input. Okay, so it will take some time for the output to respond to the input changes, and that is what we call it as a slew rate. So because of the slew rate of the of the op-amp, what will happen is, as we go on increasing the input frequency, your output waveform will become closer to closer and closer to a triangular waveform, because it is no longer output is no longer able to track the input changes so very fast. Fine. So if you go on increasing the value, it might happen that this output, which should be a sinusoidal waveform, will become close to a triangular waveform, and even it will reduce its amplitude. Okay, so that is very much possible. So you're free to try on your own. Fine. So let us pause the simulation. So we have completed the table, And now we have to enter the values over here. So I will enter the values as it is at the gain side, because the input voltage is 1 volt peak to peak. Okay, so if I remove the voltage from here, it will become gain. So this is very generally we observe that as we go on increasing the frequency, as we go on reducing the frequency, the gain of a differentiator goes on reducing. Okay, so let's plot this in using online plotly. So I've typed online plotly. So we'll go over here and check it out. Yeah, so we can select this online graph maker. So here we can enter the values, and then we can plot the frequency response. So it will take some time to load. Okay, so here we can enter the data in column number A and B. So let us take the data from here and enter it in frequencies in the column number A. Directly we can use it. Okay, and then again at the gain side we can add this column to the B and enter the readings like this. Okay, so we have entered the frequency and the voltage gain. Okay, so now we'll go to trace and we'll select it as a area. Type of plot will be area. X-axis will be A, that is frequency, and Y-axis will be the voltage gain. Okay. Okay, over here we are getting 9.6. So I'll double click and write it as, yeah. So 9.6 it is correct. So this is what the frequency response looks like. If I expand it, let me just expand it over here. So this is what the frequency response looks like. At lower frequencies, the differentiator will reject the low frequencies, and higher frequencies it will allow it to pass. So let me add the plot name over here. This is frequency plot for op-amp differentiator, and x-axis will be frequency in hertz. So frequency in hertz. Also we can enter the y-axis. So y-axis will be voltage gain. Okay, so this is the plot, or you can take this print screen, and then also you can take the print screen of the full screen over here like this. So we can reduce this reading, and here it is. So let me take a print screen and add it and show it to you in the Word document. So this way you can add your print screen wherein you get the frequency plot for op-amp differentiator. So what does the frequency response tell us? That this is how the frequency response of a practical differentiator is. So for lower frequencies, the differentiator will block the lower frequencies and it will pass the higher frequencies. So that means the y-axis we are plotting the gain, and x-axis is the frequency in logarithmic scale, we can say. So we can see over here that the differentiator is acting as a high pass filter. Over here, the differentiator is acting as a high pass filter. Okay, whereas it's passing high frequencies while blocking the lower frequencies, right? So that is what the frequency response of a practical differentiator looks like. Fine. So that is all for this experiment now. And you please complete this table and note that you have to take the value of you have to take the value of at the start the value of RF, and for the starting 10 roll number should be 22 and next 10 roll number should be 25, and then you can proceed this making the circuit in Proteus and carry out the frequency response of op-amp differentiator, wherein when you plot the readings, I mean using the online plotly tool, you will get this graph which is confirming that your op-amp differentiator is working as a high pass filter, whereas it's passing high frequencies while rejecting low frequencies over here. Okay, so that is all for this session. I hope that you will complete your all your lab work on time. Okay, so until then, our next time we'll start with some other lab. So until then, have a good day and thank you.